this strange race recovery technique that has the pros talking. Hi, my name is Colette and I'm the Run Recovery Coach. And today we're going to talk about a strange race recovery technique that has the pros talking. Now, this is near and dear to my heart as well because as a previous yoga teacher, I used to focus a lot on this element. But right now I'm having my own personal struggles with this particular thing at the moment. But the funny thing is, you realize that not only does it help you day to day, does it help your fitness, and it helps your recovery all in one. And that, my friends, is sleep. So sleep is a very key and important part of the way in which our body functions, not only what energy we have throughout the day, how our brain works neurologically, and just how we function well, and especially from athletic point of view, because we do a lot of our recovery when it comes to the physicality of our muscles and everything recovering. That happens the best, and the repair happens the best in our sleep. So a good night's sleep is the way ahead for recovery and race training and preparing for any big type of event, is getting a good sleep routine and habit in place. Now, the reason why I talk about this for me personally as a struggle at the moment is because in more recent history, I've been struggling to maintain a good sleep schedule. And that is one really powerful thing that can help you be a better sleeper. Now, I used to have a really amazing sleep schedule, but it goes to show that when you change an environment, we moved house recently within the last year, and I had a brilliant sleep routine at my old place, but they say whenever you make a big change in your life, such as moving house or just changing your job or something that's big like that, that it completely, almost, unless you're really consistent with it in the new place, almost knocks out all your old habits. So what was important was for me to establish a good sleep routine in the new house. Now, in some ways I did, and in some ways I didn't, but there's a few key tips that I want to help give you that will make sure that you can have a good sleep routine that I am rebuilding into my routine as I'm going along. So when it comes to race recovery, just a few quick pointers and run recovery is when we go to sleep. I got a lot of this information from my mentors and people that I study in the books that I read. I'm studying a lot about through Andrew Huberman and his interviews of Dr. Gina Po, who's a sleep scientist, and also the neuroscientist Matthew Walker, who's written a whole book actually on why we sleep. So I love this book, and it goes really deep on all the information of what's amazing about why we sleep. But in pertaining to race and run recovery for us athletes out there, what you find is that when you have a good sleep routine, you tend to, when you have different levels and layers of sleep. You have your REM sleep, which some of you may have heard of. You have your slow wave sleep, and all these different elements of our sleep routine, and our 90-minute sleep cycle. So we go through these different cycles, but without going into too much detail, I want to give you short, impactful pieces of information that can help you move forward. But the key thing you need to know is that when you sleep, that is when most of your muscular recovery and athletic recovery happens. So if you're sleeping well, you're recovering well, okay? And that makes you stronger and faster and more energetic to carry on with your training and just do better and better going forward. So the first thing that you can do, getting into the meat and potatoes, is regularity. Regularity is thing number one. So for a sleep routine, is as much as that is making it a routine and making sure that you're trying to hit going to bed at the same time at night and waking up pretty much at the same time every morning. Now, it takes a while to get into that kind of routine, and there's lots of different tips and tricks you can use to help you with that. But the most important thing is to be regular. So for me, I try to be in bed lights out by 10 p.m. every night, waking up, and actually I'm finding out that my body is waking up at 6 a.m. every morning. I'd really like to eke it back a little bit to be like 5 a.m. so I get the 7 hours, but my body's telling me right now I need 8, so I'm going with that. But as long as I keep going to bed and follow your cues at night, because your body does have a natural circadian rhythm. And when it's used to something, it'll start winding down. And it's amazing now. By 10 o'clock, most nights, boom, I'm out. And where I'm struggling, because I said I'm still struggling with it, is my early wake ups. So obviously I'm going through a phase and a cycle right now where my body needs that extra sleep. And you'll find that when you're training harder, maybe you need that as well. But I know life isn't perfect. So as long as we aim to get 6 to 8 hours a night, then we're doing really well. The second piece that you can do to help with a good sleep routine at night is to lower the temperature in the room. The reason for that is because really the reason we go to sleep at night is because our body temperature lowers, our internal body temperature lowers a little bit. And that is what allows us to fall asleep. So having a window open, fresh air, anything like that will help you get into that state of sleepfulness. That's kind of why, as long as you're not overheating yourself, because you have an internal body temperature and an external body temperature. Okay, so your external body temperature is to touch, and that's what you feel when you go outside and you feel cold or whatever. But your internal body temperature to fall asleep has to lower by a degree. And the reason that you wake up in the morning is because your body temperature raises by a degree. So when you go to sleep, having a window open, like a hot bath at night can help put you to sleep, or nice warm covers can help put you to sleep with the fresh air coming in, and having that around you. But basically what will happen is when you put a hot thing on the outside, like warm blankets or a bath, that will help lower your body temperature by a degree. It works in opposites, because your brain tells you, oh, it's really hot on the outside, I need to lower the internal body temperature. So when you do that, then that's what brings you into the slow sleep. The third thing to go ahead and do then is to dim your lights. So a good thing for sleep behavior and sleep patterns is to help lower and dim the lights in your household on an evening. You don't want a lot of, your big overhead lights on in your room or in your house. That will just stimulate you and wake you up even more. And that really kind of helps slow you down for the evening. So for me, I've studied a lot about hygge, which is like the Danish, Dutch, and kind of Nordic Dutch experience of kind of how you slow down in the winters, and they have lots of dark nights, and they're really great experts on lighting and just making sure that the body helps slow down. So lower lighting, lamps, and lower set lighting will really help you get into a state ready for sleep. And then the fourth thing is to keep it dark. So if you do wake up in the middle of the night, you don't want to be turning on bright lights or looking at your phone because of the blue light. All of those things will help to make sure that you easily fall back into that sleep, and you get asleep again quickly, and it doesn't stimulate the brain to start waking it up again. So again, the 4 tips are regularity, falling asleep and waking up at the same time, lowering or keeping like fresh air, like the temperature in the room with fresh air will help you go to sleep. The third one is the dimming of the lights, and the fourth one is to keep it dark if you do wake up in the night to help you go back to sleep. Oh, the other quick little tip about keeping it dark is we got these little kind of low lights that are motion sensor, and they're battery. I think they're rechargeable from Amazon, and they're not expensive at all. But that really helps. You don't have to actually turn on a light in your house when you go and use the loo in the night or whatever. So that's a really helpful tip as well. So anyway, I hope that helped. If you found this at all useful, I'm starting to tell people a little bit more now about where to go find stuff about me. So if you go to runrecoverycoach.com @runrunrunrunrunrunrun.com/race. You'll be able to get a free resource about recovery immediately after your training runs. And then join me tomorrow to make sure that you learn about these 3 things that need to be on your plate immediately after you finish a race, or right after you finish a race. So go ahead, go share, go have some fun, and join me tomorrow for what needs to be on your plate right after your race. Take care, guys. See you tomorrow.